We're now entering the time of the year that investors refer to as the Santa rally, where the market tends to perform well throughout the holidays through the end of the year. But this year could be a little different, as we have four factors that could either help the Santa rally or derail it. Those four factors are the election, lockdowns, the vaccine rollout, and lastly, can we finally get a stimulus bill passed? Stay tuned as we cover all four of these key factors. Last week, most of the major indexes were negative, with the S&P 500 leading the way to the downside, down 1% last week. That performance has led to a turn of events that we really didn't see coming, and that is the Russell 2000, with a positive week up 1.1%, has overtaken the S&P 500 for year-to-date performance. The Russell 2000 is now up a little over 14.5% compared to the S&P, which is only up 13.5%. Now let's go over to foreign and emerging markets still continues to lead the way, up over 13% compared to the foreign index that is up 2.6 year to date. I now wanted to get into the four factors that we mentioned at the beginning of the video, and the first being the election. Now there's a ton of stuff to go over about the election, but I wanted to highlight the big story from Monday the 14th, and that is that states voted to send their electors to Congress on January the 6th for acceptance. Now, for the first time in history, we have 7 states that have lined up to send dual electors to Congress on the 6th. Those 7 states are Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and surprisingly, New Mexico did this as well. What this essentially means, and we'll use Pennsylvania as an example. Pennsylvania has 20 electoral votes. The governor decided that he was going to send 20 electors from the Democrat Party, and the GOP side of the legislation voted that they were going to send 20 Republican electors to Congress for vote of acceptance on January the 6th. Now again, this has never happened before, and this has led some people to say that we're officially now in a contested election. And the House of Representatives is going to have an interesting decision to make as to what electors they're going to accept from these 7 states. Now the election is one outlier of the 4 factors, and the other 3 factors really go hand in hand. And the first one that I wanted to talk about was all of the states that are going to be locking back down, closing their small businesses at almost the worst time that you possibly could for them. This will essentially destroy a lot of local economies that were finally just starting to rebound. We saw a massive amount of small businesses close during the first lockdown, and I'm extremely fearful that we're going to see thousands of businesses close and not be able to make it through this second lockdown period. And that goes right into what we're looking at with a stimulus bill. As with small businesses closing, obviously a lot of people are going to be going on unemployment. And this time around, they do not have the extra $600 to fall back on. So obviously the third big factor is, can we finally get a stimulus bill passed? Now there's been talks for months now, but no action. And the bill that's out right now that's being talked about is for a $980 billion bailout essentially to the corporations. It does not include a direct payment to individuals, and also they're talking about possibly leaving out the extra $300 that people could get if they're on unemployment. President Trump said that he absolutely wants a direct payment to every American included in this stimulus bill. The fourth and final factor is, can the United States successfully pull off a rollout of the coronavirus vaccine so that everybody that wants the vaccine can get it in a timely fashion, which will allow us to hopefully get things back to normal and reopen all of our businesses. So the perfect scenario for all 4 factors is that we get a stimulus bill that helps businesses now and also helps anybody that is unemployed due to the lockdowns, which then buys us enough time to get the vaccine rolled out to everybody that wants it, which would allow the fear of coronavirus to start to go away which would force all of the states to reopen and get the economy back to normal. And the last thing with the election is that hopefully things get resolved as soon as possible and we get answers as to who the next president is going to be without causing mass chaos. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. See you next week.